Welcome back to SPSS Essentials Part 2, where this part is divided into A and B. Now we are currently in Part 2A. I'm Dr. J, and in this video we are going to explore how to understand relationships in your data and how to reduce many survey items into meaningful factors. In Part 1, we learned how to compare groups using t-tests. In Part 2, we take a bigger step. We look at relationships using correlations, uncover hidden dimensions using EFA, check reliability, and end with regression. Our data set is from Heavenly Delights Café, with 510 customers rating their experience. These variables will be used for correlation, EFA, reliability, and regression. Let's move to the first focus, correlations. Correlation shows how strongly two variables move together. In business terms, when one thing increases, thus the other increases too. For example, is better cleanliness associated with higher satisfaction? How do we read the results for correlation? You can refer to the table here, where you can see there are weak, moderate, strong, and very strong correlation values. Imagine you are the Heavenly Delights Café's manager. The management wants to know which areas of the cafe are most associated with customer satisfaction. Correlation helps identify which service elements relate to satisfaction before we move to deeper analysis. Now let's look at the correlation table. Here, the first thing I want you to notice is the Pearson correlation coefficient, or R. For example, if we look at facility cleanliness and customer satisfaction, we see that the R value is 0.718 and P less than 0.001. This tells us two important things. One, the strength of relationship. Using the table by Hare et al. 2017 from the previous slide, we can see that R value of more than 0.70 is very strong relationship. So a correlation of 0.718 means that the cleaner the cafe is perceived to be, the higher the customer satisfaction tends to be. The p-value is less than 0.001, which means this relationship is statistically significant. It is unlikely to have occurred by chance, and there is a strong evidence that cleanliness and satisfaction move together. Now let's compare cafe innovativeness and customer satisfaction. The R value is 0.153 and P value is less than 0.001. This is what we call a weak but significant correlation. It means that the relationship exists, but it is not strong. Innovativeness contributes a little to satisfaction, but not much. Customers may appreciate innovation, but it is not a main satisfaction driver. This distinction becomes very important when we move to regression later. So to conclude this slide, the strongest association with satisfaction is cleanliness. Food quality, price, and atmosphere also show moderate to strong correlations. Innovativeness shows only a weak correlation. But remember, correlation is not causation. It tells us relationships which factor truly drives satisfaction. That's why we need regression. Let's discuss. Which factor is most strongly associated with satisfaction? What does a weak but significant correlation mean for innovativeness? You can find the model answers in the extra class materials provided to you. What are the key takeaways for correlation? Correlation doesn't prove causation, but it helps managers quickly see where the strongest relationships are and where to prioritize attention. Now we are moving to the next focus, Exploratory Factor Analysis, or EFA. EFA takes a long list of survey items and groups them into meaningful themes. For example, all food-related questions becoming one factor. To run EFA properly, we need enough sample size, meaningful correlations, and factor loadings above 0.40. Outliers should also be removed. EFA helps us to identify hidden patterns in respondents' answers and condense many survey items into a smaller number of meaningful business themes. KMO tells us whether items can be grouped. Bartlett tells us whether items are different enough to form factors. When both are good, we can run EFA confidently. This table summarized the meaning behind KMO values. Let's have a look at the data on Heavenly Delights Café. Heavenly Delights wants to simplify their customer survey and identify which service dimensions customers actually evaluate. Here is the first round of EFA. What we are looking at are all the factor loadings, and this tells us how strongly each items belong to one factor. We can see 3 items that behave poorly. The first one is AA6, noise level. It loads moderately to factor 1, but theoretically it should belong to atmosphere. Because it does not group cleanly with atmosphere items, it is a confusing factor. For CI4, apps or online ordering tools, the loadings are extremely low. This tells us respondents do not associate online tools strongly with innovativeness. For PR6, superior price, weak loading relative to other price items. Customers may not understand what superior price means. It may be interpreted differently across respondents. These 3 items reduce clarity and must be removed before moving to the next round. Before going to round 2 of EFA, have a look at these questions. Pause the video and try to answer them. You may compare your answer later with the additional class materials provided. Now this is the second round EFA after removing the problematic items. You can see clean, well-structured factor pattern. For factor 1, food quality, items load from 0.596 to 0.981, very strong loadings, and customers clearly treat these items as one concept. For factor 2, innovativeness, loadings from 0.458 to 0.916, strong and consistent. This confirms innovativeness is well understood by respondents. For facility cleanliness, all cleanliness-related items are grouped together. This supports a strong cleanliness dimension. Atmospheric attributes. Items form a clear ambience dimension. Lighting, temperature, odor, seating all align well. For price perception, negative signs does not matter because factor direction can flip. What matters is that items form a very strong unified factor. This is the kind of clean factor solution we want. Each factor makes theoretical sense and shows how strong mathematical supports. So, from the EFA, we now have 5 reliable factors: quality of food, cafe innovativeness, facility cleanliness, atmospheric attributes, and price perception. These will now be used for our reliability analysis and later regression to identify what truly drives customer satisfaction. As a class activity, please choose one factor and answer the following questions. You may discuss this with a friend or your group members and compare your answers. The model answers are provided in your extra class materials for reference. The key takeaways for EFAs include: EFA reduces complexity, strengthens measurement, and gives managers clear themes to work with. That's the end of part A. In the next video, we'll continue with reliability and regression, where these are the parts that helps us make the final decisions. Thank you.